Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judgment. Why you're a fraud?
I just unfortunately, the camera setup that we got right now, I can't see my two friends, Thiago Motta and Francisco Conceição. I heard they done very well yesterday. I can't remember who they were playing. Before we get into that, we start the stream with a nice little question and answer thing as we've done the past couple of weeks that have been here. Rory, how did your team get on this weekend?
Yeah, one decent.
One. Two, I saw 2-0. Mikel Merino popped up with goals. Nice to see someone who can, go into the attack and score some goals. My team won 2-1, a little bit nervy, but 3 points is 3 points at the end of the day. Got the job done, especially in a title race. Just need to make sure you win in these games. Mo, how did Inter Milan get on yesterday? I know it was a title race game against a Juve team that very techy, very hit and miss this season. Surely, the magnificent Inter Milan got the job done.
No, we lost.
You lost?
You lost.
You lost? No, it can't be. You got Lautaro Martinez. Surely Lautaro Martinez, Captain Fantastic, turned up.
No, he was shit. Absolute missing sitters. I hope that you sign him this summer.
No. You say this. I wouldn't want us to take him away from you. I wouldn't want us to rob you of the love and affection you've got for such a club legend like Lautaro Martinez. Captain.
He's not a club legend. He's never going to be a club legend. Not for me, bro. He's never going to be a club legend. He's an absolute fraud, bro.
I mean, speaking of club legends,
I really wish that the people that don't like me sign Lautaro Martinez and someday to see him play football. I'm genuinely like the people that actually kept saying that Lautaro is better than Nunes, better than Havertz and all this stuff. Just watch the guy, bro. Just watch him with your eye. The people that would watch him by watch-alongs, finally yesterday, they said, we see it now. I'm not sure if who watched the game, if you already watched the game or watched some of it.
No.
The guy is so bad.
I watched bits and pieces. I was too distracted by a lovely little watch-along that was happening where someone was
for fuck's
apparently losing their mind at, a certain Lautaro.
You know why I was losing my mind? It's there is a difference. And let me give you an example. There is a difference if you play bad and lose a game, for example. You know what I mean? You get cooked. You're the worst team. You're the team that is not the better on the pitch. You lose the game. That is fine. That happens. Sometimes it happens. You know what I mean? You're not the best team on the pitch. But if you are consistently the team that has possession, create chances, have opportunities, and your forwards and your guys are sluggish in front of the goal, they get in the right places and they can cross while they have two guys by themselves. And then comes Juventus, and with one chance, our players shit the bed and they score. Realistically, Inter were the better team on the pitch, and then that is the difference. We bottled it. That is the difference. I would not have lost my head if Inter were not the best team on the pitch yesterday. We were the best team.
To be fair, I don't think you can have much respect for a team that's getting rouletted by Nwaneri.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So
I agree with you.
Is that title over for Inter then?
Title. We're 2 points behind Napoli. We still play them. What are you talking about? Title over.
I'm just going back. I'm just going back the typical.
We're gonna go by the. Do you think you won the league already? You're 7 points ahead of Arsenal. Do you think you won the league?
No, we still got games to play.
So how come my title is over? I'm 2 points behind them, and I still have to play them, and you're telling me the title is over?
Did you have to play them at home or away?
Doesn't matter. In these title races, it doesn't matter because there's gonna be twists and turns. No, really. I think we play them away, but I think we can win there. It's not like we're going to play at Anfield.
An away game. Oh, I don't know. That's 5 points. So you're gonna do a 5-point gap?
No, I think we're gonna win, bro. What is this interrogation about Serie A? But anyway, Rory has no clue what's going on. Rory has no.
I know what's going on. I didn't watch the game. I know what's going on. I saw you raging about it. I saw that clip going around. That was entertaining.
Oh, there was plenty.
That was actually not my. I actually was so upset when Lautaro took a shot wide open and it went to like one of the Darwin Núñez and like Modric's shots when it went to like outside of even the 18. Like it hit it bounced like outside of the 18 on the right side of the goalkeeper. And I'm like, what is going on? How are you a professional footballer and you consider yourself a World Cup winner and you want to be the highest paid player in Serie A, blah, 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 and you just can't shoot. And I'm like, it's a similar frustration with Liverpool fans with Núñez. Or some of the Arsenal fans with Kai Havertz, like you missed the sitters. The difference is this guy. To be honest, the difference between him and other people is that we are factually the best team in Italy on paper, names wise. But it's like we definitely are the best team in Italy. We're the best depth, we're just better than everyone else.
Is that why you're second?
We're second because they have a better coach. That's the 2 point difference that you see is better coach. And in every metric, we're the best team. That's what happens when you get the better coach, though. That's why I say Antonio Conte is one of the GOATs.
Surely if you're better in every metric, surely that's more down to the coach. And then it's more down to the players that despite being better in every metric, you're not above.
No, but I'm going to tell you the difference. Maybe defensively they're more solid than us. But Antonio Conte has something above everyone else around in the world, which is the mentality. Antonio Conte, because you've never been coached, right? Like you've only seen 3 coaches in your lifetime, Rory, basically. I've seen a lot of coaches at Inter. Good for you that you stayed with Wenger. But because I've seen Mancini, I've seen Mourinho, I've seen Gasperini, I've seen Conte, I've seen Inzaghi. The only guy that I saw when Inter play, we always thought that we're the superior team no matter who we played, is Antonio Conte. The only guy that in press conferences never accepts loss. Never. So I felt that the players stepping in every game thinking that we can win this. They're never a second fiddle team. It's the only guy. Mourinho, even when Mourinho sometimes, I feel like Mourinho has this thing that when he knows he's the second fiddle team, Antonio Conte is so different about this. He's the guy that only believes that there's only one winner in the whole sport. It's like you win the league and that's about it. And that's why I believe that is the difference. Like he makes Gilmore and McTominay and Politano and these guys play better because he embeds that mentality in them before the kickoff. You get my point about these guys.
Yeah.
You are the better guy. Like he puts them you can dribble, you can shoot, you can cross, you can score to each and every one of them. And he made the Inter like this. He made Chelsea like this. He took a team from Chelsea. Yes, they won the league 2 years ago, but he was 10th and won the league right away. He went to Juventus, by the way. Juventus were 7th. That is in 2012. And he used to coach before that, if I'm not mistaken. He used to coach some kind of team. I can't remember who. He made Juventus from 7th. And by the way, it's not like he took over winners. He took over a team that was in the Serie B, came up to Serie A, finished 7th, 9th, and then one season from, I think, 7th to to title winners right away. And it didn't matter who's against him. Same with Napoli now. And that is the difference. That's why I believe this guy is just different than all the coaches that we know in the sport. He's shit in the knockouts competitions. He's shit in the Champions League because he only focuses on one thing. I have to win the league every time I'm in it. That's it. That's the only mentality he has. And that's why if you're a bigger club and you want to win both competitions, you can't hire him because you will get knocked out of basically the group stages or the first round of the knockout stages in the Champions League. But that's the difference, to be honest.
So you're Inzaghi out then?
And by the way, I'm not Inzaghi out, but that's why this is actually the conversation that I did yesterday, which is, can we step out of the Serie A now? I wanted to have Staffy here to have this conversation. We had this talk yesterday with the Man United fans about, guys, can we get the likes up? We're not even on 100 likes. We have almost like 300 people in the house. We're just starting the show. It's the first 10 minutes. Can we get at least 100 likes, you fraud?
Shambles.
If someone wants to ask me a question, just go ahead and ask me the question, but ask me straight questions, so I'll answer it. Yesterday, Terry on the Football Terrace kept asking, what is the solution for Man United? And he wanted people that say, sack Amorim or do something to find a solution. I thought the solution is to sack the guy, basically, and get someone like Antonio Conte. Amorim.
Well, right. Okay. So
as a short-term solution.
But they don't have but they don't have a short-term squad.
Yeah, Napoli didn't have a short-term squad as well. They lost Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen. That is, bro. You don't understand. I'm not saying that
Napoli's squad was a year removed from winning the league title.
Actually, a lot of them. No, that's wrong. Factually, that's wrong because Osimhen, the most important players left: Kim Min-jae, the goalkeeper. Sorry, Kim Min-jae, Osimhen, Kvaratskhelia, Zielinski. Basically, they gone. This was the spine actually of that. It was Rahmani next to Kim Min-jae. It was the right side used to be the Mexican. I can't remember his name. You know the guy that
Lozano.
Okay, Lozano. And it used to be sometimes Politano, sometimes Lozano. In the middle used to be Lobotka and Guisa and Zielinski, but Zielinski was the guy. And up top it was Osimhen. So basically, Antonio Conte took over a completely different team from the spine. It's exactly as someone coming to Arsenal and say there's no Saliba, there's no Saka, there's no Odegaard, there's no Rice. That's not the same team, basically. These are the other guys, but this is the spine of Arsenal, like Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson. You get my point, right?
Yes, but my point is,
he took over a different team.
He didn't take over a different team. He took over a new look team that had a lot of players still in the squad. I'm not saying they were key players, but a lot of players still in the squad that were a year removed from winning the title.
That's different.
But this, it's not, because this United squad doesn't even have that. This United squad has
but that's my point. But you're missing my point.
But there's no point buying short-term manager.
Hold on. Let me put the point. You cut me off. I'm not saying that Antonio Conte or someone similar to that will take over Man United, right, and win the league. But they will definitely not be 15th. You get my point? They might make European places. Not now, but at the end of the season, these players will have a winner's mentality. And maybe you can give him next season, you finish in the Champions League spot or 5th. And I know that the year after, what Antonio Conte will say is like, fuck all these guys, I need new players. Now comes the clash. It happens all the time in all the clubs. He has his demands, and they collapse with the owner's demands, and then he's like, mutual agreement, I'm out. But short term, he moves the team from point A to point B. Point B might not be winning the title, but point B is definitely going to be better than point A. The mentality at the football club is shambles, bro. These guys are losers now. The losers. Man United Football Club are just mediocre team. They are you don't have the winning mentality. Go ahead, Rory.
I don't know what I don't even know who's running the club or who's even making the biggest decisions now. Like they went out of their way to get Dan Ashworth to come in, who was widely seen as one of, if not the best in the business. He explicitly said he didn't want Amorim, supposedly. And then they went and got Amorim and got rid of him. And then they brought Amorim. If they then sack him, if they sack Amorim as well, it's like, so you sacked Ashworth, who you were desperate for, who was meant to kind of lead the project internally. You've then sacked the project manager. Like I ultimately just don't understand what's going on at United. Like, I don't know what the plan is. If you sack Amorim now, like this, at least the last season, this is just a complete waste of time. Probably next season as well. I don't know who takes on the job because no one has come out of Manchester United with an improved CV since Ferguson left. Like,
Amorim has a good CV.
But he doesn't. If he got if his CV at Sporting was brilliant, and I genuinely do think it's a massive shame that actually that ended, and because they had such a good thing. But his CV then has he did well at Sporting. The second he went into a big club or into a big environment, he got swallowed up within 6 months and sacked.
Why did Arne? But that's the whole. Arne Slot succeeded at Liverpool, and he was coming from final.
Because Liverpool,
he inherited a quality side with a quality structure that knew exactly what they wanted to do.
There you go.
Amorim got worse. Okay, good answer. I accept that. But Amorim Man United got worse.
No, don't get me wrong. I think Amorim's made mistakes. I think I don't think he realizes that he won't have the time to continue playing the way that they're playing and figuring it out. Like, he will not get that time. If it continues for the rest of this season, he won't survive the season. I think any manager worth their salt should be able to take the group of players that they are individually and figure out a way of getting results with that group of players. If he needs to change it into a 4-2-3-1 or whatever it is to start getting results, he needs to do that. Like, right now, the focus has to be results. Clearly, that group of players is not capable of playing the way that he wants to play. Solve that problem at a later date, right? Because you won't live to make the changes to the squad that you want to make long term.
The thing is, it's too fucking that they had one side of the coin with Ten Hag, which was a manager who abandoned every single aspect of his philosophy, and they had a moan about that. And the fans and the club had a moan about that because they didn't buy him to not play Ajax football, etc., etc., etc. And they brought in Amorim, and Amorim's now going to the complete other side of the coin, which is win, lose, or draw, good performance, bad performance, whether they fit or whether they don't. I am playing my style of football. They went from one extreme to the other. They need to get into the middle somewhere, but the problem is they're not going to do that with this squad. Because and they've almost sort of shoehorned themselves into sticking by this manager because of the big decisions that they've already made.
Yeah, that's. But like, so Z said in the chat, like, these players were shit under a 4-3-3. The players aren't good no matter what the system is. Yes, I don't think the players are good enough to compete for a Champions League or whatever. They're not 15th level, right? They're not. United's squad is not worse than Everton's or Palace's or Brentford's. There is a way, there will be a way to get those players to at least win every other game. Like, I think it's unfair on the manager, actually, or even on the players. You even look at Anthony. Like, he's gone and playing well at Real Betis and got 4 man of the matches in 4 games. That is not just because La Liga is a worse league, which is what some people are trying to say. Oh, Anthony's doing well in La Liga because it's a rubbish league. Like, he's not a bad player, but he looked horrific at Manchester United. And that applies to so many other United players right now. I also question things like getting rid of Rashford and Anthony in the January and not replacing them. And then you're left in the position that they were in yesterday. Like, there was an assumption that Ineos knew what they were doing when they came in. There was an assumption that Ineos bringing in Barada and then Dan Ashworth and, you know, rejigging the whole top of the club. There was an assumption that was going to work, that they all knew what they were doing, and that everything was going to turn around. Like, I've seen zero evidence of that being true yet. I've seen zero strategy. I've seen zero good high-value signings. I see zero plan.
Can I ask you guys something for real? Let me do these couple of super chats before we go on. Big up JJ for supporting. Salam, ya Mo, Tom, Dan, and Rory is here. Smash the likes, people. And sub, let's get Mo to 30K. Guys, I'm very close to 30K, actually. Before Arsenal are 1 point behind Liverpool in a week's time, once they lose to Villa and City. We'll see about that, JJ.
Even if that was the case, you'd be 4 points behind because you don't play twice this week, do you?
No.
So you'd be 4 points behind, but with a game in hand.
So basically, that's 1 point.
But we're not going to lose both Villa and City.
We'll talk about that in a bit. The players are good enough for top 6. Amorim out. I want to ask you guys something for real.
Are they though?
Can I ask the question then? Oh yeah, that these players should be okay. The reason why you're seeing them this bad, okay, I'm not saying they are the 6th best team, but they should be good enough to compete for top 6 for European spots. Like we're not gonna for Europa League or Conference League. Not Tom, not 50. Everton are ahead of them. Everton are not better than them.
I know they shouldn't be down in 15th, but I also don't think that this squad is good enough for top 6. I don't think this squad is good enough for top 6. I don't think it is.
They are. Onana's a Champions League level goalkeeper that's shown it at the highest level. De Ligt, the same. Maguire has done it at United. Dallow's done it at United. Mazraoui, Champions League level footballer. Ugarte, Champions League level footballer.
No, but we've done this with how many United squads, though? We've done this with how many United squads where you look at the CV and go,
oh, okay, so the problem is not the squad then?
No, I think it is the squad. I think the squad is overrated.
But even Ten Hag was able to get that squad into the Champions League for a season.
Yes,
so it is capable of. Yeah, but it is capable. It is possible to get that squad of players into the Champions League.
But is it because that? I think the squad he had that year, that 22-23 year, it benefited massively from multiple teams being non-competitive.
No, they got some 70-something point. That's good enough to get your Champions League football. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like on paper, that is good enough.
No. When I say that, I mean you look at the teams that are traditionally in the top 4. 3 of them didn't finish high.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that United. Okay,
no,
this is what people do. This is that it's ingenuine thing, Tom. This is what people do. I'm gonna tell you. This is what people do. Other teams being bad does not stop Man United or help Man United win against Crystal Palace or Fulham. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point? Like they have, like basically them winning against Spurs or Everton at that time has nothing to do with Man City being bad. Because once you get 70-something points, it's not only against the big teams. They defended their way against. If they defended their I think they won against Liverpool in that season, if I'm not mistaken. And they won against City at home, if I'm not mistaken as well. They lost 6-3 away and they won at home. So Man United have the capability to get top 6. We're not saying top 3.
But also, Forest
to get 55 points. 60 points will get 55
yeah, but
points.
Do you want me to be entirely honest? I think that Nottingham Forest squad is better than the United squad.
But again, it's one of those. Like, if a manager who came in at United and was getting and their squad was above Forest, I don't think we'd be saying that. I think we're only saying that because the United team is playing so badly. But the individual players are definitely capable.
Can I ask you something, Tom? Do you think the Brentford team is better than the Wolves squad on paper?
Brentford and Wolves, yes. The Brentford squad's better.
You really think Brentford are better than Wolves?
Yeah.
You've seen the players at Wolves, the names.
Yeah, Mateus Cunha,
I think
Gomez. But
like,
again, I'm not watching it by names. I know Nelson Semedo played at Barcelona for a couple of years, but I also.
No, but Nelson Semedo is not a bad player. If Nelson Semedo played for a team with a better coach or the circumstances are different, Nelson Semedo is not going to be 17th in the league. Like, okay, Nelson Semedo is not a 17th player. However, Ipswich players are 18th. That's their level. Southampton are 18th. Yeah. Leicester, same.
The problem
is Man United are not 15. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is you're looking at players based on the way they've played this season. So you say you think Nottingham Forest have got a better squad than United. A lot of people were touting Nottingham Forest to be in danger of going down this season, whilst most people assumed United would compete for the top 6. It's only because throughout this season, those Forest players have played to a far higher level than United that you now say, well, they've got a better squad. But no one believed that at the start.
I disagree. I disagree.
If Bournemouth were knocking around in the relegation spots right now, you'd look at their squad and say, yeah, I'm not surprised.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be shocked if they're down there. I think, we're doing... This United squad is running off reputation as a club and as players with what they once were and what they could have been. You know, that attack, let's just be completely and utterly honest, that attack by Amad Diallo, I think it's a relegation level attack.
So I disagrey with you. Rasmus Højlund, we watched him at Atalanta. I know you did as well. He not a bad player. He joins United, becomes way worse. It's within a couple of months. Xerxes was balling at Bologna because Thiago Motta knew how to use that skill set that the guy had.
Mhm.
Now he joins Man United. He's a good game, yes, and 10 bad. One good assist and then 10 bad. Same goes for a lot of people. Bruno Fernandes plays very good for Portugal. Every Man United fan complain about him.
But that's the point.
But that's down
It's
to the
not
team.
it's not just it's not just individual player because you've shown me that these players can perform well in different circumstances, but they're not in those different circumstances. They are in the circumstances they're in now, which is Premier League.
And that's why we're trying to find a solution for this.
The solution is you've just got to ride it out. That's the cold hard fact of the matter. United are making so many cuts. United are making so much of this, that, and the other. They're in a financial shit show apparently because they need to sell some of their homegrown talent. This, it's that bad. There's no simple just bang done fix United the back. They're gonna have to ride out a storm. They're gonna have to ride out a shit show that they have caused by their own poor management. I don't think. I
believe you need someone to. I don't believe. It's not about coaching. I believe it's a mentality issue. I believe they need a Jurgen Klopp, they need a Pep Guardiola, they need a Conte, a Thomas Tuchel, someone from that ilk. They're not going to win the league, but they're definitely not going to perform like this. That's my opinion. Someone, for some reason, I thought Amorim would be that guy. I know you're in love with Amorim. We know that, but that's different. Amorim has joined the club that maybe the pressure is bigger than him. Maybe it's bigger than his experience.
He made the mistake during United. But
maybe he made a mistake.
I don't think this is a simple solution for United. I don't think it's a case of, you sign Antonio Conte and Manchester United are back in 2 years. No.
Because let me ask you.
Let's say you had that mentality because United have had managers with a winning mentality and they've had managers with a project mentality and they've had managers with this mentality and that mentality. But one thing has been consistent. None of them have achieved what they were set out to achieve, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that was someone who was hounded out the club in the end. So, let's look at Ten Hag. Ten Hag came in. He was not coming in as this long-term project manager. He was coming in as a manager who won stuff. He was coming in with a manager who had a mentality of how to win. And that went out the door straight away. So there's no guarantee that you bring in this manager. There's no guarantee that you bring in this manager and the mentality sticks. There's no guarantee. United cannot afford to bring in a Conte and it not work. As a football club, they cannot afford to.
They can.
No, because they are in a position where they're going to have to sell one of their homegrown talent, either Garnacho or Merino. If they go sack Amorim, that's another 20 million.
Can I ask you something?
Conte, that's another 10,
so you don't
million.
think it's if Amorim keep losing, and guys, I'm not sure if both of you know, he won 5 in 16 and lost 8. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Inter, by the way, and I checked it. We sacked Gasperini after 5 winless run, and it was his first ever 5 games. 5 winless games, he was sacked. Frank de Boer joined Inter back, I can't remember, 2013, something like that. He went for 16 games, lost 7, got sacked right away. Right away, got sacked. The reason why the big clubs need to find something else. I'm asking you, Tom, straight, pure face. If Amorim continue with that ratio of winning, don't you think, and Antonio Conte wins the league or comes second for Napoli, isn't it better for them to buy him out of Napoli, give him only 5 million a year or 6 million a year or 8 or whatever, right? That's not going to be a lot. It's half what Arteta makes, less than half what Pep makes, and then give him a season and say, fix the mentality of these players.
Again, no, because that's not where these United players are at. They are not ready for a Conte. They would not handle.
Why they're not ready
well. Because they're
You're
not winners.
You're assuming.
Right.
Nobody.
So, do you think Conte is going to accept 5 million?
Is Billy Gilmore a winner? Is Scott McTominay a winner? Like, what is going on? Like, do you think these guys are winners?
You know what?
Like,
no, squads can afford to have some that aren't winners. But do you know what else? Which is what I said at the start of the show. They've got the likes of Lobotka, who won a league a year and a half ago. They've got the likes of Lukaku, who is, as much as people like to clown,
a winner,
a serial winner. They have a squad. This is about half half of winners. And when I say winners, I don't mean the little fucking shitty trophies. I mean they have won the top honours which they want to compete for. What winner? Bar Casemiro was in that United squad, and Casemiro was getting forced out the door.
Onana. See, if you keep naming the names, Rory, he won't believe you. Tom, you don't want the problem with you, Tom, is that you don't want to hear it.
That squad is not there for a Conte. That club is not ready for a Conte. That club cannot survive Conte not working.
But that is just a statement in the air. That has no legs to stand on. We're not saying that Antonio Conte should win the league with them. No one said that. But basically not be 15th. It's be 6th or 7th.
I think part of what Tom's saying is correct in the sense that like they're running out of, United are running out of options in terms of, you hear some of the stuff about their finances. Like right now, I think they've got a squad that is capable of getting top 6. The question is, the reality is, it needs to be getting top 6 in terms of bringing in money and revenue, because United are in a dire situation from that perspective. I don't know how much it would cost to get rid of Amorim, to pay him out of his contract and to bring in a Conte. That like they're getting to the point where you can't even afford to do that. I think United for the last decade have run on the assumption that a club the size of United cannot fall away. That if you just keep spending, and Gary Neville, he said it himself. There's that old clip that always goes around where he was trying to do down Arteta, but it actually showed the mentality of him and how United think was. He almost laughed at the idea that United wouldn't overtake Arsenal again in the next few years, and he said, "Well, we'll just spend our way to it." And I think there's a reality sinking in, like spending and spending and spending, but with no strategy just doesn't work. And now they're at the point where they can't even spend their way out of the problem. So now they actually have to plan their way out of the problem. And like I said, I'm not convinced that anyone at that club actually knows how to plan their way out of the problem. Even if you look at an Omar Barada coming in, Omar Barada at City could basically do what he wanted in terms of finances. There was no worries about any of that sort of. Can Omar Barada succeed with massive limitations on budgets and stuff? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, I think it's going to be a long road for United to get back. A long road.
So basically, one of the things I said, and I got slaughtered for, by the way, by a lot of United fans, I said, Man United are no longer a big club. You need to find their way back into being a big club. When I mean a big club, I'm not saying in fan base and money and revenue. They are one of the biggest clubs in the world in terms of fan base and revenue. Still, they are ranked like 6th or 4th in the world or something like this in revenue. But in terms of like competing for the trophies, I thought that someone like Amorim would be the guy to fix the mentality right away and start within 1 or 2 years to be back again within like, you get my point, like back again within 3rd, 2nd, maybe you're not winning, but you go back in the Champions League, you get like, you can be like, with all the, like Arsenal now, you're always there. Your name is always mentioned in the teams that can win the title here or there. Even the people in the Champions League, and it's not me, even the people in ESPN, for example, I put an Arsenal course. You get my, the betting people are saying Arsenal can win the Champions League, can win the league. You get my point. But now I'm seeing the situation, and I kind of agree with you that it might be what is the word in English that you use? For the foreseeable future, you're just a mediocre club.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
And I have accepted that a lot of people accepted like they accept that we're gonna stick with Amorim, regardless of, like Terry yesterday in KJ said, and Staffy, stick with Amorim regardless of the results. I would just want to see this out for once, because the alternative is exactly the same thing that we've been doing over and over again.
It's the definition of insanity. They just keep doing what they've done, which hasn't worked.
But all of them have said that for the last 3 managers. For the first few months, they'll keep saying, no, I don't care, stick through it. I don't care, stick through it. Then you get 18 months in, and they're still not, say they're not in the top 7, so they're not in Europe. Then Staffy and Terry, they'll start turning, and they'll start, well, we wanted to stick with him, but now we're 18 months in, and we can't stick with him anymore. And 18 months isn't long enough, but they'll get to that point. They'll get to that point again. And I thought Amorim turned at least the mentality around a little bit when he joined. Their performances against Liverpool
City.
and against
Yeah.
Arsenal and against City. You start saying, well, the players are trying. They're not able to create much and whatever, but they're giving it their all. That already feels like it's dropped away.
Yeah, well, just to answer this, Staffy just had an emergency and couldn't join. Also, Dan had an emergency and couldn't join. Staffy was supposed to be Man United, and Dan was supposed to be Chelsea. They might join midway through the show, but at the current moment, they couldn't. That's why on the thumbnail there is Staffy and Dan. Are you saying that we're not discussing it objectively enough for you? I think it's a very objective conversation about Man United. It's very rational.
I mean, it's not like we can say positive stuff about United.
I can't. Do you know what? Wallahi, I tried. You know me, I'm someone who gets excited easy with like football stuff. And I've said, Amorim, in his first press conference, and I said, this guy has the personality. I see the fire. And as Rory said, I see him trying to turn it around, change the mentality. But now in hindsight, all what Rory said is just adrenaline rush because it's the big teams. It has nothing to do with mentality. It's just adrenaline rush. Because you can see it in the Crystal Palace games and the other games.
And even the big call on Rashford in terms of completely removing him from the squad, that looked like a big call that might pay off in terms of, okay, he's really determined to get the players that want to play and have the right attitude. I'll tell you what, if we go on for the rest of the season and Rashford looks better at Villa than any of the current United attackers do, that just looks like a bad decision.
I mean, the
rightly or wrongly.
What about Anthony now? What about Anthony?
Well, exactly. And I think he was.
Already.
I think he was probably right with Rashford. And I remember Arteta made that similar call with Aubameyang. But it has to work, and it has to be proven correct. And I think, I remember when Aubameyang played for Chelsea against Arsenal and looked horrific, and it was like, okay, well, that was the right decision then. But if Rashford looks good for Villa, and I think he's looked amazing so far, but he looks sharper than any current United attacker does. These are all kind of things that just ruin the perception.
It's a lot. You just got to look at that United team that played yesterday, and I know that's a squad that is battered with injuries, but that front three of Garnacho, Højlund, Xerxes, it's shit. It's so bad. It's honestly horrendous, and they've got no other option. And you tell me
that's the worrying thing.
Rashford couldn't, offer something in that front line.
Yeah, that's the worrying thing. Until the end of the season, do they have any attacking players that are actually going to come back?
No. Amad Diallo, end of May.
No, I know Amad. But did they leave themselves after January?
Yeah, they have four. They have four. Garnacho, Amad, Xerxes. Yes, four attackers.
They left themselves with four, and Amad's out for the season, so they have three front three options.
They have three. The same ones that played yesterday. These are the three attackers.
The only other option they've got is to put Bruno Fernandes.
Actually, now we just thought about it. Yeah, Rory is right. Nobody at Man United know what they're doing, actually. It's just
especially when you consider that realistically, Amorim at Sporting was using what we would consider 5 attacking players because his wing-backs were wingers, not full-backs. Like Amorim's wing-backs weren't traditional full-backs that were playing more advanced. They were wingers, really. So he relied on 5 starting attacking players at Sporting, and he's been left with 4 in total in his squad after January. That's mental. That's mental.
Let me do a couple of these. Frankie here is saying, Tom doesn't the second. We'll talk about that, Frankie, in a bit. Hit the like button, people. We got almost 500 people in the house. Also, Rory's channel in the description. Tom channel in the description. Rory Talks Football on Instagram and TikTok as well. Guys, listen to Luke. We cannot have 500 people here and we're only on 130 likes. Minimum 300 likes. Hit the like button. It helps the channel massively, guys.
Chido Obi Martins.
What?
So a couple of people in the chat said Chido Obi Martins is an attacking
but
player
again,
that they've got. But
we'll talk about
isn't this a 16 years old?
He's 17 now, but yeah.
Talk about a 17-year-old who made the senior debut yesterday.
I don't think he's even played for the under-21s yet.
No,
he certainly hadn't even made an under-21 appearance at Arsenal. But
look,
I'm not going
to the under-17s.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say he's not rated. He was rated at Arsenal. Arsenal tried to break our own academy wage structure to keep him, but the reason he left was because he didn't see a pathway to the first team. And if he didn't see a pathway to the first team at Arsenal, despite the fact that players like Nwaneri at 17 and Miles Lewis-Skelly at 17 have made it into the first team, you know, if that's what you're relying on, I actually worry more about Chido Obi-Martin in terms of how badly it could damage the start of his career if he gets thrown into this United squad, because it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well throwing him in. And then you end, I hope he doesn't. I actually hope Amorim doesn't use him. And it's the senior players that have been bought for large amounts of money that get the stick and not him.
Can we do Arsenal? Okay, we'll talk now about Arsenal and enough of Man United, guys. Guys, like the damn video and let's talk about Arsenal and Liverpool and what is going on in the weekend. We'll start with Frankie's super chat, actually. Tom, doesn't the second half versus Wolves terrify you with the next games? You won't say it, but I see you growing hair to cover the fear in your eyes.
No, it doesn't bother me. In the moment, it was a horrible second half to watch, but it doesn't bother me because you need.
Do you feel like you got away with it, though? Do you feel like you got away with the game?
No, because they had one clear-cut chance. So although the stats say, they had 10 shots, I'd say one of them was, one which I'd expect them to score, and he didn't. Alisson saved it. The one which I wouldn't expect him to score, Cunha smashed it into the bottom corner. So I know that the bigger gripe is the fact that we didn't have a shot in the second half. But, if Diogo Jota had just fucking shot instead of trying to win a fucking pen when he didn't get touched, we'd be 3-0 up, and it'd be a different narrative. So, look, you'd have shit after football at times. You have to see it through. And that was what we did yesterday. They're the type of games you look back on if you get over the line and go, fuck me, it was shit, but it was what we needed. So, you get out there with a crap performance and you hope you can bounce back on a Wednesday against Aston Villa.
I completely disagree. I think it's worrying signs, to be honest.
Well, of course you would.
No, but it is. From outside, it is. Okay. Do you think it's if you're fucking playing against Wolves at home and you leave it till late like this, right? And your forward is not playing well because he was injured for the last 2-3 months, Diogo Jota. Darwin Núñez comes in, doesn't provide anything, and you're being under pressure from, the 18th team in the league at your home ground. If that is not worrying, we're just not watching football the same way. We're not watching
me. I've watched Liverpool do that.
What is it?
I've watched Liverpool do that when we were in our pomp under Jurgen Klopp. We had a game against.
What about last season when you were doing this and people said it's not sustainable? What about that?
Because that wasn't what it was. That wasn't what yesterday was. Yesterday was not an unsustainable performance because we haven't been doing that constantly. I'm on about the years in our pomp. 18, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22. You'd have games like this. We always had it against fucking Brentford. One year, I think it was 1920, we played Sheffield United at home. We won 2-0. But Sheffield United had a load of good opportunities. That year, we played Wolves at home, won 1-0, and they fucking battered us and should have won. But again, you look back on those games and go, that's where you get the job done. You don't play well, but your mentality and your quality sees you through, and you have to bounce back in the next game. You're not going to beat every team comfortably. You're not.
But here's the thing. Against Brentford, it was a very late win. Against Bournemouth, it was a 50-50 game, and it ended up by the clutch Mohamed Salah at the end, you will have him some games, but some games like yesterday, he wasn't. Against Forest, it was 1-1, if I'm not mistaken, and you weren't great. Against Everton, you dropped it at the end. Against Forest, it was, I'd say, Liverpool with the better team. All these games, I can't say that the opposition I can't say that Wolves were the better team yesterday. You get my point? You were the better team, but you have not been convincing more than not convincing in the last 5-6 games. Does that make sense?
I'd say we were convinced. Yes. I disagree.
I
need to pull the list. I need to pull up the list of games, but
the game I remember on top of my head was Brentford. Everyone was preparing themselves for a draw. It was a 0-0 draw written all over it. Right?
No, because we broke the record for most shots an away team had in the Premier League that game. We battered
and it was a day off for you. It was a day off for your forwards. It was like the goalkeeper's having a world class day, and your forwards were off. So then that happens all the time.
I'm just lost on the. So are we not playing well, or are we playing well with
It's
certain players?
that's the problem.
I'm lost on the
I'm
point
going
you're
to tell
trying to
you.
make.
Some of the games you played well and you haven't finished your chances. Same happened last season. You should have won against Luton last season. There is the other against Crystal Palace. Should have closed out the game and you didn't last season. I'm remembering some of the games last season. Some of the other games you didn't play well, and you
I'm not.
hold on. So let me finish then, and then you can respond. Can I finish the point, please? Thank you so much. Alhamdulillah. So, and the second part is some of the games you were not good, but you won the games. But it was far in between. Is that what it called? Like between the games that you were convincing and you won the game emphatically. You're like in the beginning of the season, you were winning games emphatically, being very convincing. Does that make sense? I can't remember the last game you did this apart from the Spurs game in the cup. Like that is the game where you're like, you were great.
So
you're better than them.
So 3 games ago was the
Yeah,
last
but that
time
is in the
we
cup.
absolutely
That was in the cup. Yeah.
Okay, I would say Bournemouth was just as strong.
Okay.
And then I pulled up our last 5-ish. I've got our last 7 league games here. Yesterday,
Yes,
Wolves 2-1. Not great, but we got the job done.
Yeah,
Everton
I like this.
Everton
Describe the
2-2.
game in 3 words or like one sentence. Every game you go through. Great.
Should have won. Disciplined performance. Bournemouth 2-0. Comfortable. Ipswich 4-1. Domination. Brentford
Yes.
2-0. Domination. Nottingham Forest 1-1. Unfortunate not to win. We hit the post twice. The keeper made 3 worldies and he cleared one off the line.
Okay.
That Bournemouth one, I don't think was a comfortable win. They missed an insane open goal to make it 1-1, and then Salah scores a worldie at the other end. That's not comfortable. There's comfortably another world where they score a tap in from 4 yards, and Salah doesn't bag a worldie, and then it's a 1-1 draw.
I'm just going off the entire run. I don't think.
I think the last game Liverpool were comfortable with the run.
Way.
I win back as well.
But
Last run, it was Leicester, West Ham, and Spurs where you won 6-3. These are the 3 games where we're like, oh, these look like Liverpool look like the team that is battering everyone.
I mean,
anyway, maybe I'm mistaken.
I would far rather be Liverpool than Arsenal right now. I
100%.
don't buy it. I've never bought into the getting results when you're playing badly is a good sign. It's always, in my opinion, a bad sign because far more often than not, good results with bad performances end up becoming bad results with bad performances.
Yeah, it can't be a consistent thing. You can't get away with doing it game after game after game. But if it's,
I don't think,
if you can just have one or 2 in a month.
Yeah, I don't
6,
think
7 games you can get away with it.
Yeah, I don't think Liverpool's performances there's been enough consecutively for it to be a worry yet. I think it's not an ideal run of performances heading into Villa, City, Newcastle. You'd probably want to be feeling a little bit more confidence going into those. But look, that said, you can just win the next 3 and then suddenly, you're home and hose pretty much.
Basically, if Liverpool win against Villa, if Liverpool get 4 points from Villa and City, these 2 games, Liverpool are in the clear, in my opinion. They're in the clear. I say like they are in the clear, like they're comfortable, their way, like because no one expected them.
Our next 3 games are big. You've got Villa away, City away, Newcastle at home.
Yeah, these massive games, to be honest.
I think you need 7 points as an absolute bare minimum, but because you drew with Everton, you realistically need 9.
No, you don't. You don't need 9. That's fine.
7 is an absolute bare minimum, but then you're starting to need Forest to do you the favour against Arsenal or United, and we know how fucking shit United are, or Chelsea to do you the favour, and you can't necessarily get to that point. I just think this next week is going to be very defining for our season, but I'm not worried and I'm not going, there's major concerns here, we're going to throw away the title, because I've seen better Liverpool teams have worse performances than that and get the job done. It happens in a season. It happens when you're playing so many games in a row. I mean, fucking hell. I can't remember the last time we had a week between a game. I think we've done Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday since January 1st. Since January 5th. Just going through it now. Yeah, we've done a game every 3-4 days since January 5th. So it's starting to catch up to the players. Thankfully,
Yes.
there's an international break coming up, but we also get a week off after the new. We get. Oh, is it a week? It might even be a bit longer than a week after the Newcastle game.
Yeah, because you get a
because we're not in
weekend
the
off
FA Cup.
because of the FA Cup.
Because
Yeah.
we're not in the FA Cup. Then we've got. It's not a week actually, is it? Because we got. No, it is because the Champions League is then on the Wednesday, so we get a week off. Then we've got another run of midweek games for 3-4 games in a row, and then there's an international break where we can sort of recover. But doing a month of straight Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday,
Hold on, you have 2 weeks off, or a week and a half off between February 26th and March 8th.
No,
it's more
because
than 10 days.
There's Champions League that haven't. There's Champions League fixtures that.
Oh, it's in the middle. Oh, yeah, okay.
The Champions League games need to be done, and then
Yeah.
I think they're like the 4th of March and the 11th of March.
And you play a shitty team in the Champions League anyway. The 4 teams that you can be drawn against.
We can draw PSG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
there's effectively there's a 50-50 chance that they get PSG, assuming PSG go through.
I can't even.
You're gonna go through. PSG already won away 3-0.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 50-50.
There's a 50-50 that they get.
I'll tell you who the other ones we could potentially get are, because I know.
Yeah, you're gonna get PSG or Dortmund basically. That's a tough game.
Is it Dortmund the other one?
Sorry. It's the other one. You're gonna get.
We'll get either PSG. So we'll get either Benfica or Monaco.
You're gonna get Benfica or PSG basically, because Monaco lost at home to Benfica, so PSG or Benfica. It's a tough game, to be honest. It's not as easy as people think. Yeah, these are tough games. So yeah, I hear you now. This is a tough game. Yeah.
We should have come fucking third, or realistically, we should have come fucking eighth.
Have you seen the 7th and the 8th, bro? You got Atalanta, Club Brugge, or Borussia Dortmund, Sporting Lisbon. What the fuck, bro?
Like there's realistically no benefits of coming top.
No, because then it's what happens after that. So assuming you get through the round, like so you said come in third. That's what we did, and our round of 16 game will probably be quite easy. It's Juve.
I think there is a new draw after the round of 16.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Does it not go back to traditional?
No, it's all planned out. So Arsenal's quarterfinal will either be against Bayern, Man City, or Real Madrid, probably,
or Atletico Madrid,
or Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid.
Right.
So whereas
what the fuck? So our side of the draw is so hard.
Inter as well. Yeah, our side of the draw is horrible. Yeah.
What the fuck? It's so hard. Like this is so tough.
Yeah.
No, hold on. No, Rory, I just saw it. No. You still go to the semi-final and you still face one of the first or the second.
The only thing I know.
It only goes, Rory, for the quarterfinal. From after this, we go to the first or the second, depending on
the only
draw.
Thing I know
there is a draw.
First and second can't play each other till the final. I don't know how it works outside that, but
and third and fourth can't play each other until the final. Fifth and sixth cannot.
So for us, for Arsenal and Inter, you're looking at quarterfinals will likely be against either Madrid City, Bayern, Leverkusen, or Atletico. Semi-final would likely be against either Liverpool or Barcelona.
From that point on, everything is tough.
Would also be Liverpool or Barcelona. So yeah. Liverpool and Barca round of 16 could be tricky because of PSG, but if you avoid that, you've got a decent quarterfinal.
I like it now. I like it now. Because it's very fair how you perform in the first round.
I'm going to need to see how it plays out in actuality.
It's right in front of me. I'm just looking at it.
I don't have it, so when I watch
it's literally self-explanatory, as Rory said.
Yeah.
When I watch the draw, I'll be all right. But if it means that I don't need to play a decent team until the semis, I'll take that.
Yeah, you're only going to play one of the good teams in the round of 16. Your quarterfinal would be quite easy, and then that's it. Listen, going back. So yeah, Liverpool. We'll see how it goes. My man here, Jacobos, saying AFC had one shot on target in 81 minutes. By the way, fans, And I don't know what that is. I'm not.
Shouldn't throw stones in glass houses. I'd assume that's what he means.
He's talking about Arsenal and
Yeah.
about
Basically,
Liverpool.
Arsenal fans shouldn't be talking about Liverpool's performance when we didn't perform well.
But let me tell you something. Because of Arsenal performances, I still believe even if Liverpool drop points, they should be worried. But because Arsenal are not great, there's a difference between, and that's what people didn't understand when I had the talk on the match reaction with the other guys. I said, yes, Liverpool should be worried, but also not as worried as like Man City last season or Liverpool. But Liverpool were top and Arsenal and Man City could not lose a game. So if you drop 2 points, you're third. Like, that's the difference. Like, I'm not sure if Arsenal will continue and go on a run. They're making Merino up top. Like, have some shame. Raheem Sterling, have you? So, they should be worried, but not that worried.
Against Leicester was fucking horrendous. Oh
Was
my God.
awful, bro. It's fucking awful, bro. It's just, this is another story. But again, but they have an excuse, did you? To the panel, both Arteta and Amorim came mid-season. How do you compare them, or is it too early? I'm gonna have Rory answer this because he knows the ins and outs of that first season.
It's like what I was saying with Amorim. The different Arteta joined Arsenal, realised probably within a training session that the players were far too shit to play anywhere near what he wanted to play. So he reverted to a back five. Basically, it was a 5-4-1 with Aubameyang left alone up top, and we shithoused our way to an FA Cup, and we got a couple of wins against big teams on the way. The football wasn't good. And all he really cared about was figuring out who he could actually trust. And he did that. And he weeded out the shit personalities very quickly and he moved them on. The difference between Amorim and Arteta is that Arteta did get some results quickly by not playing the way that he wanted to play, but by playing in the way that was basically the best he could get out of those players. And you look back at that Arsenal squad that he won the FA Cup with, he really did get the maximum out of a lot of those players, despite how poor they were. Amorim hasn't done that. Amorim's tried to stick with his 3-5-2, 3-5-1, not 3-5-1, 3-5-2. But for Amorim, and I think this is the difference, Arteta didn't have as much pressure. Realistically, at the time, Arteta did not have that much pressure because it's not you don't have fucking Gary Neville and Paul Scholes and Roy Keane.
Can I ask you as well, Rory? What was the sentiment around Emery when he was sacked? Was there still like sections of the Arsenal fan base that were vehement defenders of him? No,
there was a real bitterness about Baku losing the Europa League final to Chelsea. Like a real bitterness about that result, which I think he was always going to struggle to come back from. And then the performances. Yeah, I remember we conceded a record number of shots in a game against fucking Watford. And there was like that Watford game, like that, and I think
is that the one where Gwen
I actually remember that game specifically.
Honestly, and I think because of that, when Arteta came in, we immediately stopped conceding as many chances because he went to a back five, and that was the first thing he focused on.
Yeah, but football was bad though. The football was
awful, but it was less embarrassing because we were able to get results as well against a couple of the big teams. And even in I remember in the interviews after those games, I think Liverpool we got a good result against. And
you beat us 2-1.
Yeah, and after the game, Arteta was like, "We are nowhere near as good at football as them. Like the football, we are nowhere near on their level, but." The players are trying. Like we matched them in terms of energy and willingness to do something. And that was the first thing that he focused on. And I think Amorim's tried that in the sense of what he's done with Rashford and stuff. But I just don't think he's looked at... I think the stubbornness of not wanting to adapt his style to fit, at least in the short term, is going to be painful.
The reason I asked about Emery was because even when Ten Hag was sacked, that fan base was divided on him. There was still a lot of people who defended Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah, there wasn't much division on...
and more support.
Yeah, there wasn't much division on Emery.
So Amorim came in and already had a bit of the fan base pissed off already because Ten Hag had gone and they didn't think he deserved to go. And then you factor in the fact that he thinks he's got to stick by his system and go to the complete other extreme of what Ten Hag done. It's not going to work out in the short term. And the part that, if I was Amorim, I'd be really concerned about is if you're going to stick by this, you need players. Can United afford to buy you all the players that you need to fit this system that you want? Because the defence, you've got half of it, I'd say. Your wing backs aren't necessarily the greatest. Midfield wise, you need at least 2 because you don't see Merino as one of your 8s. You've said that. Your 10s, you need at least 2. Your strikers, you need at least 1, maybe 2. That's already listing 8, 9 players, and the football club is already coming out saying that we need to sell to buy. You don't have enough sellable assets to get you the 9 players that you need. So we're then going to be in the same point of the cycle again and again and again and again. That's why I said it when he got appointed, and I'll say it now. He should have waited till the end of the season to see what other jobs are available. Because if he'd won another league title with Sporting, which he was on course to do, he could have sat there at the end of the season and had his pick of some of the best clubs in Germany, the best clubs in Italy, the best clubs in Spain. And we don't know what the situation would have been like in England. We don't know if,
Why are we going back to Amorim? Because of Super Chat. Oh, right. Okay.
Because of the Amorim Arteta chat. Whereas I think Arteta, he at the time I thought it was a bit, of a risk going to Arsenal. But that
Can I ask a simple question just to end this? Do you think Amorim, if he's left in the job in 3 years, can be where Arteta is now?
No chance.
No.
No chance. No chance.
No. Zero.
Wow.
Where was Arteta after at the end of Arteta's 3rd year? Where were Arsenal? Was it the year they came 5th?
This is the year they bottled it to Antonio Conte Spurs.
But so 2.5 years in was 5th, 3.5 years because he joined halfway through the season. So the end of his 3rd proper season.
To be fair, Amorim joined.
That was the title race, right? Yeah.
5th was the end of his 2nd proper season.
Yes,
and by that point, he'd really not spent much money.
I think by the end of his 2nd full season, he'll be just behind where Arteta was. I think he'll be finishing like 6th, 7th.
Possibly, yeah.
So you don't think if Amorim stays and he, what is it, the word that Rory said, like get out the weed from the club, right?
Yeah.
And then get his own players in within 3 years, Man United can be back to the top. What is the difference between Arsenal and Man United, though?
It's going to take longer, and there's more to weed out in that United squad. That
You think Man United now are way worse than what Arsenal were when Arteta took over?
I don't think they're way worse. I don't think they're way worse. I just think they're more toxic.
I also think
and more deep-rooted.
I also think Arteta inherited Saka, Saliba, Martinelli. That was probably.
Didn't he get Gabriel? Was it his signing or he was Emery's
Gabriel was one of his first signings, yeah. So he bought Gabriel. Saliba was already at the club. Arteta
you can't count Saliba at that time. Saliba was 17 too.
Arteta did well with him. He despite the fact that I actually think, especially in the season that we came 5th, Saliba would have been a big improvement to our back four in that season, where we had White at right centre back, but we had no depth to it. But Arteta almost sacrificed that to give Saliba another year out on loan. Mm-hmm. But he did inherit those players, and I don't see anyone that Amorim is inheriting. And you look at probably there was a point where between Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba, that was kind of over £200 million worth of players.
No, I disagree. I think Amad Diallo, I think Kobe Mainoo is good. I think Ugarte is good. I think De Ligt is good. Lenioro is good.
But these are not they're not the level. Ahmad I don't think Ahmad will ever hit the level of Saka. None of those players hit the level of Saliba. Okay, Martinelli, I think he got the most out of Martinelli in that 22-23 season, and he did well to do that. But
Lenioro is a young defender that he can develop. We don't know if he's going to become good or not.
No, he won't get 2 years out on loan.
No, but look at the way he described how William Saliba was developed to how Lenioro. William Saliba got 3 years out on loan at different levels of French football.
Maybe they can loan him out. No, they can't loan him out. He's too expensive. He's
too expensive, and they've already started playing him. And the big reason why he joined Man United, the main reason why he joined United was he was told you'll get guaranteed football now. That's why Real Madrid pulled out of the deal.
But maybe. So you know what I think. I don't think Man United fans will have 2 seasons of if Man United being outside of the Champions League and the coach is still being there. Like within next season, if Man United finish outside of the 6, I think he's getting sacked.
They're doing the cycle again. They're in the vicious cycle where
Tom, you have to accept it. It is like, okay, let me explain to you something. Do you think if Chelsea finish outside of the Champions League now and they start next season not great, do you think Maresca stay even until December? It's an yes or no question.
I think yes.
Yes. You think that Chelsea fan base will be able to deal with him? Okay, it's up to you. I don't think so. I think otherwise.
No. That was a different. Do I think he will still be there in December next year? Yes. Do I think the Chelsea fan base will be fully on board with it? No. But do I think he will still be there?
My
yes.
man, I genuinely think that once fans in the stadium turn on a coach fully, the board must sack the coach.
But
in the stadium,
are the fans in the stadium turning? Because
that's what I'm saying. I actually think that Maresca now, if he doesn't make Champions League football this season and he makes Champions League football and he doesn't make it next season, like it doesn't look like it in the beginning of the season, I think Chelsea fans turn on him, completely turn on him.
No, I think that Maresca is ultimately going to have another year in him because he'll win that Conference League and that'll buy a bit of goodwill. He benefits from the fact he's in the shit competition, which he's going to win because there's no other competition there. So we can add that and he'll buy himself another year. When I say the stadium fans are the last to go, I'm going to use United again. Erik ten Hag had Manchester United 8th, horrendously off the boil last year, and those fans were singing his name constantly. When I tell you the stadium fans are the last to go, they are the last to go.
I know.
Yeah, they are.
Unless you have ultras, you're the first to go.
Yeah, but English clubs don't.
No,
because you don't have it. But I believe that Chelsea have this organized fans together, and they turn all together. They turn. It's a section of Chelsea fans. Like it's a section. Like I believe the difference is in Italy or France, there is a section which is the ultras. They're all organized together. So yeah, they turn together. That is what turned the whole stadium. I believe Chelsea have this.
Well, the closest I'd say to the closest you have to a representation of what ultras would be at English clubs, I think, is just away fans. So I would take what Tom's saying to the extreme of when the away fans have turned against the manager, that's when it's curtains.
Okay.
And
yeah,
there was even a point. Was it last season? I remember the away fans. I think were Chelsea away at like Palace, and they got a result, and the away fans were supporting. It must have been Poch.
I think it was Nottingham Forest. Was it not? Was it Nottingham Forest away when they won 3-2?
Maybe it was. But yeah, there was a point where even the away fans were still cheering for Pochettino. But I do think once the away fans have gone, then you've just got no hope.
God, no. Let me do this. Very, very important. Arsenal fans crying about injuries and PGMO. Where was the energy when Liverpool faced the same adversity last season? LFC will be deserved champions. Let's go. But I don't get that, AK, to be honest. But no one said that Liverpool had injuries and you didn't lose because of the injuries. AK, to be honest with you, Arsenal fans now, they have no striker. They played with Raheem Sterling, and I'm sure you watched Raheem Sterling play last game, which is we haven't spoken about at all yet with Rory. And I feel the pain. If that was my player and if that was my lineup, I would be... I would absolutely be smashing... I'll be smashing TVs, bro. If this is my team, and this is what, against a relegation fodder Leicester away... If Inter are playing a relegation fodder team in Italy, and my forward line play like how Sterling and Trossard played in that first half, I don't know what I would be. My head. I was like this against Juventus, right? Arsenal against Leicester. So, AK, I'm sorry, with all due respect to you, you have to watch the game with the odds.
I think what AK is saying is there's been this narrative on Twitter, which is why you need to separate Twitter, which is a cesspit, from actual conversations like this. There's been a thing on Twitter where Arsenal fans that want engagement tweet out, if Liverpool were in our situation with the injuries we've got, they'd be in 6th, 7th, where yada, yada, yada. And then we come back and go...
And that is, they might, but they aren't. The answer to this is very simple. They might, but they aren't.
We'll never
Okay.
know. We'll never know.
But equally,
Sterling on Saturday. Fucking, it was watch him try and take on the fullback and just run into him.
Oh my god! Oh
And
my
run into him.
god!
three attempts, 3 times he was tackled, and at times it was like it's not even good defending. Like the defender,
and it's not tackle.
stood still.
It's not tackle.
The defender.
I get it. I get it when the winger is trying to dribble and the defender nicks it to a throw-in or a corner kick. The guy is getting dispossessed and the opposition is starting an attack from the wing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how bad can you be, bro? Like, it's just
Or when like Odegaard was trying to play it through and Sterling stood offside calling for the ball.
So that for me, the absolute worst, the thing that I think is just unacceptable from a fan's perspective is lazily being offside. And he did it so many times where he stood there. You're looking across the line. You are a professional footballer that has won. Well, he never won the Champions League, did he? But he won the Premier League, multiple Premier League. How are you stood offside? Like, because it ends the attack. You're waiting and waiting and waiting for us to get the ball out wide into that isolated position, and you're stood offside. It's like, and I don't.
Yeah,
Trossard was poor.
Can we go? Let me finish the super chat so we can go to the Arsenal game because there is a couple of things to talk about there.
Okay.
Champions do not need to play great; they need to win. But Rory explained that, and I agree with him. Sometimes, Sam even said that. He said sometimes bad performances will catch up at some point. At some point, it will catch up.
If we play like we did in the second half against Wolves across the next 3 games, we won't win them all. But you can afford to do it in one-off games. You can afford to have half of it if you come back in the next couple of games, which is what we need to do.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, before we go on, guys, over 500 people in the house. We're not on 200 likes. I said I want 300 likes. It helps the channel. So hit that like button. Let's get to 300 likes, guys. It's free. That's even free. The like button looks like summed up. Tony Josiak is saying the issue is if they buy these players that are great for 3 at the back system and then Amorim leaves, get sacked, they are in a shocking place again.
Yeah, very, very true.
Okay, then. So, Tony, what do you want them to do then? So what do you want them to do?
Well, this is the thing. If they
I don't know
sack him,
the
they have to
answer
do it.
then.
No. So the thing is, if they are going to sack him, which I don't think they should, then they have to do it before the summer. You can't do what you did with Ten Hag. Give him the summer, spend 250 million on players for him, and then sack him 2 or 3 months into the new season.
Or even after 1 year. By the way, or even after 1 year. After 1 year, you can't just spend the summer buying wing backs, players that are suitable to back 3, 10s to play, and then 1 year into the project or him rebuilding and say, well, your results are not good enough, you're out. What do we do with all these players? What happens now?
Exactly.
That's why Inter went and got a back 3 manager after Antonio Conte, basically. By the way, we always have been a back 4 team. Always. We got Antonio Conte. He got players, the Bastonis and the De Vries and all these guys. We stuck to a back 3. You have to do it. Mo, why are you shocked when they said Man United will not be like Arsenal in 3 years' time? Because I wanted to know why the energy is different, but I think I got my answer. When Arteta took over Arsenal, they weren't this bad. This is.
Yeah,
guys, I have in my lifetime, I have never seen a big team, what I call a big team from the big powerhouses in the world, like Juventus, Inter, Milan, right? Arsenal, Man City. In my lifetime, Liverpool, this bad. That's in my lifetime.
Oh no, we were this bad.
In my lifetime, I have never seen Liverpool this bad. 15th and 16th.
Roy Hodgson was sitting there.
When was that?
2010.
Maybe for 1 season. No, not Tom. They are 6 points above the relegation.
We had Roy Hodgson coming out after losing 2-1 to Blackpool at home, saying Liverpool aren't too big for relegation.
This is where were you on the table though?
We had a 6-month spell where we were this bad. We got rid of him quickly. Yeah. We got rid of him quickly, but yes, for 6 months we were talking about relegation, and Blackpool done the double over us. They didn't do the double over fucking anyone that year, but they done the double over us.
Yeah.
Maybe. But because it was insignificant time, at that time, like it was a very small time, I don't I
But
can't
also-
remember. You get
But
my
also
point.
at that time, like not being disrespectful to Liverpool, Liverpool had never won a Premier League like at that point. Like Liverpool weren't as big as United in terms of what we've seen United do in the Premier League. I know they haven't for a while, but I don't know. It feels more.
Tom, when was that? I'm trying to go through the history to see. Give me
So-
like a season. Is it 11-10 or 10 or 9-10? Sorry, it's 10-11 or
10-11.
10-11.
The
10-11.
first half of 10-11.
All right. But that's okay. So here's the difference. I will never compare first half because Arsenal lost the first 3 games in the season when they finished 5th. So it's not an indication. You remember that season, Rory, 3 years ago. You lost the first 3 games.
Ruben Amorim's only been here since mid-November, so he's only had.
And he lost. He only won 5 games.
But again,
Out of 16.
we are using time frames. I'm using time frames. Amorim's been here 3 months.
But we're not talking only. Okay, we're not talking only about Amorim. We're talking about Man United as a football club, as an institute. I have not seen a top 6 club or a top club, a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or Bayern Munich, this bad. I've not.
To be fair, that first year,
You know, the only time is Dortmund. Is the last year of Jurgen Klopp. They were so bad, and then he picked up and finished 8th at the end or 7th at the end.
That first year of Clear Lake Chelsea, where they brought
They
in
were-
Frank Lampard. Where were they?
Yeah,
when
that's
Frank
the
Lampard was
closest.
appointed?
That's the closest.
Because that,
Well,
that,
But it's
that's
not
not
like
like
this.
remember.
They're the only team out of the traditional, well, especially the traditional top 4, the traditional big 4: United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. I'm fairly sure Chelsea are the only ones that have finished outside the top 10 at any point in the Premier League. Because
Probably.
even Liverpool's worst, it wasn't outside the top 10. Arsenal's worst was 8th.
And by the way, that was a one-off.
our
from
worst
Chelsea
is
even.
8th.
That was
Yeah.
a one-off.
No, Chelsea finished 10th or below twice. They done it in 2016.
Yeah,
as
Chelsea
well.
have done it twice. Yeah,
No, they finished
but-
10th, and then the
Yeah.
last time they finished 12th. That's it.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Arsenal, Liverpool, and United have never
Sterling
done it.
wasn't tackled. He just lost the ball. We'll talk about Arsenal in a second. Tony here saying, what would I want them to do? Keep overspending for players that aren't good enough. Keep sacking managers. And to eventually give Arsenal Kobe Mainoo. Come on, you Gunners.
Will Kobe Mainoo play for United for Arsenal? Well, he's
Yeah, I think
It's
it's
not
good
someone
enough.
I'd buy. It's not someone I'd buy because I still don't know what Kobe Mainoo's actual best. I don't know how you get the best out of Kobe Mainoo still.
Fantastic next to Declan Rice. Declan Rice and him.
is he? I think
And
they
then,
just
a,
want the
and then a
same
number
thing.
10 like an Odegaard or something like this. No, they aren't the same players.
I think Arteta would want them to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think he'd see them as similar kinds of play. I think he'd want someone different than a Mainoo Rice
But
together.
let's go to the Arsenal game. There's a couple of points that I'm gonna ask Rory about that people asked me when I spoke about Merino and Odegaard yesterday. But when you watched that game and you won, did it fill you with hope or did it fill you with yeah, we won the game. But that's nothing here.
It's almost exactly what the hope was, that somehow that front 3 would find a way of working well together and we'd be like, oh, it's not going to be so bad. And then 75 minutes into the game, you know, we're questioning life. But then we got the win. And I had said, like, I am more than happy for us to shithouse 1-0 wins every game until the end of the season. And if that's how we do it, I don't care. If we need to do that, if we do that against West Ham and we do it against Forest, the worry is that we won't be able to avoid conceding in every game. But I just think Arsenal fans, or no, not Arsenal fans as a whole, I am at a point where we just have to keep going until it falls apart.
Until it's not, and instead it's not there
because
until it's gone. Yeah,
I can't, I can't look at that attack, especially with how awful Raheem Sterling was. I can't look at that attack and be like, yeah, we should be winning. You know, we should be
any
winning
game, by the way,
games.
any game of football.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's impossible. And yeah, Merino coming on up front, it worked, but it's not going to work every time. He's not going to bag 10 or 15 goals before the end of the season. And outside of that, there's no options. Like, the academy kid, Butler Oyedeji, he's 22. He's played 2 senior minutes of football. In 25 appearances in lower league football, he's scored 0 goals. Like, that's not an option. what else is there? And I hate Trossard through the middle as well. You spoke about Trossard not being good. Trossard
He was horrific in the middle.
Yeah, through the middle, he's always been awful. Whenever we played him through the middle, I don't like it at all. Never have, never will. Because he's not great at pressing, really. He's not strong. And so, but then, like, yeah, I don't know. The solution for me has to be Trossard off the left, Nwaneri off the right, and someone through the middle, whether it's Merino or Calafiori or whoever else. But the fact that we're even in contention still, like the fact that we're somehow clinging onto a title race when we're talking about Mikel Merino as a centre forward is, like, for me, quite impressive.
Someone asked me yesterday, don't you think it's the same of having just Kai Havertz as Merino? Basically, Kai Havertz doesn't finish. Merino's a better finisher. So if Kai Havertz is only there to occupy spaces, isn't Merino just better? Can you answer this question? If that was asked.
I don't. I think Kai Havertz is faster, covers ground a lot more quickly. I think he understands attacking zones better. Although I do think Merino is actually weirdly good at it, considering he said he's not played as a striker since he was 8. So yeah, I do think we can be more similar. I think we can play in a more similar way to when we are at our best by keeping Trossard off the left and having Merino through the middle than we can by having Trossard through the middle and Sterling off the left. Like that can't be the way that we keep trying to go forwards, because it's awful for Trossard. It's awful for the left-hand side. And you're relying completely on one area. And it's awful for the fans. So, yeah, Merino for Havertz is a closer solution than Trossard.
Yeah, I agree. Staffy, by the way, we spent an hour talking about Man United, by the way. It's in the timestamps, actually.
Staffy, he wants to sack Amorim. Go, get him. Kill him.
Can we not go back there? Can we not go back there? Staffy, you're muted. There's no mic. There's no mic for you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you at all.
No.
Zero. Anyway, but to be honest with you, I actually believe that Merino can be just a focal point and someone that you can cross to.
Yeah.
Well,
that's about it.
He's Arteta's for lady.
Literally that. Literally this.
The thing is, Merino worked against Leicester, and there will be games where Merino is going to work up front. I think the reason why I don't think it's a perfect solution. It's obviously not a perfect solution. Is there's going to be games when you play against Nottingham Forest, because I know you got Nottingham Forest away soon. They are ridiculously good at dealing with crosses. Milenkovic and Murillo in the air are monsters. So that's the main avenue of attack with Merino gone, arguably. So then you're looking at, right, okay, well, we could, cause a bit of a pinball in the box. And then, the striker could read it and get onto it. Except I don't think Merino's got those instincts about him. I don't think he's someone who can spot that there's going to be a ricochet and it's going to fall there. Havertz is just sometimes a bit shit. Well, Havertz has good instinct about him. That's going to be the interesting thing to see with the Merino. Trossard has those instincts at times. Trossard is just massively inconsistent, which is something that he arguably wasn't for a while.
We all know one thing, that Raheem Sterling should never start again for Arsenal again.
Whoa. I thought it was very entertaining. I think every other rival will sit there and say Sterling should be starting first name on the team.
No, I was upset. Like I'd
rather just play Kieran Tierney off the left. Like even if that's the other. Genuinely, because at least with Tierney, there's some sort of physical presence there. There's a defensive work rate there. I actually know that Kieran Tierney can actually take it past the fullback down the left-hand side and put a cross in. Like, Tierney can do that.
I've just realised we are talking about Arsenal potentially playing a front three of Nwaneri, Merino, Tierney in 2025.
Which is why, like, I think two things can be the same. Because I saw, like...
Can Calafiori play off the right wing?
Calafiori can
do a job through the middle. I actually think he can do a job through the middle. I'm not even joking.
Why are you laughing?
But because it's just an insane situation to be in. Imagine saying this at the start of the season that this was.
You wouldn't say that, Tom. If in the next 5 games Arsenal get Saka and Martinelli back and they are 4 points behind you,
but they're not.
Are you going to be shit in your bed?
But they're not back in the next 5 games.
No, they aren't back after the international break. So after the next five games.
5 Premier League games, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So I don't have to worry about that for the next 5 games. I can laugh.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to. You actually don't have to. Actually,
Nwaneri was fucking brilliant. Nwaneri was
he's
causing
unbelievable.
all sorts. He's an absolute joke of a footballer. He's unbelievable. He was the only bright spark. I thought, he was the only one who was there throughout the whole game. I thought Odegaard wasn't there. He turned up second half, Odegaard, but first half, Odegaard wasn't there. But Nwaneri was. He was causing problems. He hit the post twice, puts in a fantastic cross for that Merino goal. He's always a threat. He's always bright. That's the guy who Arsenal should be looking to start most weeks, ideally. And, you know...
someone... Yeah, you can hear you. Someone asked me a question, Tom. Someone asked me a question. When Saka and Martinelli are back, where does Nwaneri play?
Off the left.
Either off the left or in Odegaard's position.
Nah, we won't drop Odegaard. And to be fair, when Nwaneri's played...
Rory, can I stop you here?
Of course you can.
Most of my chat yesterday wanted Odegaard given the last chance at Arsenal, basically.
Respectfully, your chat, you know.
No, have some shame.
No, respectfully,
what is with the disrespect to club captains at the minute? Mo with Lautaro Martinez, the Odegaard chat. He's the club captain. Staffy, who's your captain? Oh, you
Bruno Fernandes.
I know you don't like Fernandes.
Don't start that.
I'm the only one who likes my captain, apparently. Big up.
No, look.
And I'm having 4 months.
Free Odegaard, bro. He doesn't deserve this.
Nwaneri's played in Odegaard's role before and actually not been particularly good there.
I said that. By the way, I agree with you. By the way, I think Odegaard is way better in that role than him.
Yeah. No, look, the solution is Nwaneri plays off the left. For me, that's...
Do you think that works for? Because I think he's so good in that. To be fair, it's a nice problem to have because it's somewhere where Saka is also very good, but where he cuts in, and he doesn't cut all the way in, but he cuts in, so he's shaped up right on the corner of the box, and he can either float this cross in, loop and cross to the back post, or take it a little bit further inside and whip it across, which he's got a brilliant shot at, or take it back outside and go onto his right foot. I don't think he can necessarily do that off the left in the same way. I feel like you'd arguably be limiting a bit.
But either way, you're going to be limiting. Saka's going to play on the right wing, right? There's no question about it. So then it's
he could play left back.
No.
You're going to start the jokes now? Tom's in a very good mood, actually. I like it.
So this is the thing. So it's like, is Nwaneri more limited off the left or off the bench? He's more limited on the bench. So you put him on the left. And to be fair, I've seen him in brief moments where he's ended up on the left-hand side. Against Girona, he ended up there. And the first thing he did, you know what you just explained, what he does on the corner of the box where he cuts onto his left foot?
Yeah.
Literally did the exact same thing cutting onto his right foot, put an unbelievable
ball
he's
in. Very comfortable in both.
You saw that shot that hit the post with his right foot as well. So I actually think he's got far more of a right foot than Saka does. So I think you can put him out there. And then the dream is that teams can't triple up on Saka anymore because doing that has always left Martinelli 1v1, but leaving Martinelli 1v1 isn't too much of a problem. I think there are a lot of teams that would not want to leave Nwaneri 1v1. So
100%, yeah.
That for me is the solution. And I would like to see it. But for now, we've got Raheem Sterling. So
I actually have a different solution. I think it should be Declan Rice, Nwaneri, and Odegaard in the middle, actually. And
that is a possibility. I worry about...
Why, Tom? Why are you doing the face? Why are you doing the face?
That's an awful lot of work for Declan Rice to get through.
Yeah, I know.
Against bottom half of the table teams with weaker midfields,
Man City did it because they had 4 centre-backs play at the back in the treble season. Arsenal have Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori. That's 4 centre-backs at the back. When Ben White is back as well, Timber can play with the left as well. That's stronger even physically, right? I think that is enough, along with Declan Rice, to actually have a shield. Also, Arsenal is a team that have 60% ball position normally, average, right? So they are on the front foot. One of the fullbacks invert, problem solved. You play 3 at the back.
It's definitely an option. There's a handful of teams that I wouldn't want to see. Like I wouldn't want to see that against Newcastle or.
Yes. Okay, we understand. You change a little bit. Yes, you change a little bit, but that should be an option. Because the thing about it that Nwaneri is so good of the right that I still think they should start even in Saka's back. But I have to see consistently though. Saka's done
It's a
lot.
brilliant problem
Yeah.
to have. It's a brilliant problem for
Yeah.
Arsenal to have.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But we need Saka back for that. So
You actually don't. You need Havertz more. Someone on
well, arguably, yeah. But
because of Nwaneri, you basically need the striker more than the right winger
yeah,
now.
but Jesus and Havertz are both out for the season, so there's no point either.
Yeah, there is no point of arguing about them. It's just for me, I'm like Arsenal was a brilliant win and everything. But listen,
I just think we're in that position now where, and two things can be the same, because like Gary Neville yesterday was
What
asked
happened?
a question about Merino.
I saw you tweet about it, and then
He was asked the question: do you think Mikel Merino can start as a striker consistently for Arsenal? Within 4 seconds of answering the question, he wasn't answering a question about Mikel Merino. He just started saying, Arsenal have got no excuses. I've got no sympathy for Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no one was asking for your sympathy or anything like that. But two things can be the same, or two things can be true at the same time. Arsenal have made a lot of mistakes in building our squad in terms of leaving the attack short. And then some elements of bad luck in terms of Havertz being out for the season and Jesus and Martinelli getting a long injury. Like, some of that's bad luck, some of it's on us. But equally, for Arsenal to sustain a title race with what we've been left with now is impressive. Regardless of whether or not it's our own fault that we've got here, we're here now. And if we can somehow sustain a title race with those players missing, I do think that is, I think it's testament to the way that Arteta's structured the team in terms of it doesn't really matter who's out. We will still dominate most games. But yeah, it's
can I actually hear what you're saying? If Arteta maintain a title race with these absentees, right, that is an improvement over the season when one player gets injured and you completely just fell apart 2 seasons ago. Completely fell apart.
Yeah.
Like you were gone from that title race. AMT here is saying, is Merino a better footballer than Marwan Fellaini?
I think Fellaini was a little bit disrespected as a footballer. Yeah, Fellaini
It was fucking awful, bro.
No,
When
Fellaini had
it was
some good
awful, bro.
Fellaini technically had a bit about him, but then he never got to use it in the last years of his career because he was just used as a fucking target man. At Everton, he had a fair bit about him technically. But
Listen, it's not bad. It's not bad. Just shows how good the rest of the team is.
But that's the thing. We've still got our strongest back four, keeper, and midfield. So, in theory, we should still be able to control games. We should still be able to dominate the ball. And I actually think the disappointing thing, even against Leicester, was that I still felt we should have created more from the defence and midfield. It's only going to be those games where we struggle to score that it's going to cost us. That's just the reality of where we're at.
You're going to struggle to score every game.
Yeah, of course.
Every game now. That's a continuous problem that you're going to have until you have Saka back.
I'm going to celebrate every time the ball goes out for a corner because that's one of the best chances we're going to have to score in games. That's where we're at.
You've watched the game, Tom? Trossard through the middle and Sterling on the left. It's basically two wooden sticks on the pitch. You're playing with 9 men.
I know that is why I'm happy.
It was horrific, to be honest. Anyway, guys, can we get to 300 likes? We still have almost 600 people in the house. Can we get 300 likes? Staffy, you joined late. We're about to end the show, so.
Well, I still wanted to show face. I was sleeping.
I still don't think you're connected to your mic,
Me too.
We can hear you, but it's like you're through
the camera.
He's going through a walkie-talkie.
I know why.
Here it is. That's better, right?
Yeah.
Now it's a microphone now.
Yeah. My bad.
It's your $500 microphone now connected now.
$500 is not that expensive.
All right then.
But yeah, my bad. I was sleeping, and to be fair, I never told you I was joining.
We have this. We're not going to Man United again. We have decided that Amorim should get sacked, and he should hire Antonio Conte now. You should poach him off Napoli now.
There's no way you decided that.
I didn't, Staffy. I was with you. I was defending.
I trust Tom. Can you tell me what actually Mo said?
I literally said that.
Mo said that.
I literally said that. I really think
Mo said they need to sack Amorim and bring in Conte because he'll have them finishing 5th in 2 years.
No, I didn't say that. Now, hold on. Now he's wrong.
Wait,
What
hold
did you
on,
think
Mo.
you did? You said that they'd be able to do the same as Arteta in his
Not
third
with Conte.
season.
No.
Oh, not with
That's not
Conte.
me.
With who then?
That's the super chat.
So,
That's
so
not
where,
Mo.
where would United be with
I
Conte?
think Antonio Conte after 1 year at United. Okay, let me give you. Amorim, if Amorim continues this bad form this season, and he's sacked at the end of the season, and then now Conte wins the league or don't win the league. This is the scenario in my head. And Antonio Conte comes in and joins Man United in the summer. He starts. He goes to the board and he tells them, I want this signing, this signing, this signing. We don't have money. You have to work. Okay, can I get small signings? Like what he did. They got McTominay, they got Billy Gilmore, they got Lukaku for cheap. They kept haggling with Chelsea until they got him for cheap. I think he does this. They find solutions here and there. I think they sign Lukaku again from Napoli. Again, Man United. I'm telling you what happens. Man United are going to be 5th or 4th.
Bro, this is a horrible scenario that you're giving us. No one
Hold
wants
on,
to
but
hear
hold
it.
on.
What
Let me
a
give you.
shit
Let me
movie.
give. Let me.
You get rid of the Hoyland and go back to Lukaku.
And then after the end of the season, Antonio Conte now goes to the board and said, "I delivered. I got you back into the Champions League. I need now 300 million pounds."
Back in the Champions League in 2026. What are you talking
He's
about?
gonna get you back, bro. He's gonna get you,
This
bro.
is a trailer to a movie. I'm asking for a refund. I'm walking out the cinema.
You know, you don't understand. This has happened.
That you just gave.
This has
Who do you
happened
think-
with every single move that Antonio Conte did in all his career. Every single club, or even when he joined Italy, every single club, it's exact same situation. And watch it unfold the same exact way at Napoli. He's gonna go to De Laurentiis and tell him, "I delivered. I got you second or first, whatever. I need money now." De Laurentiis is like, "You're asking for too much money." He's gonna shit his way out of the club by mutual
Spurs?
consent. That's the difference. Ineos are not Spurs, and I said that on the terrace yesterday. Ineos want to win. Daniel Levy is not that guy.
Oh.
Daniel Levy is shit, right? Ineos, if they get him, they're gonna want to go back to the top
All
a little
Ineos
bit. Maybe
have
not.
done is sack anyone at Manchester United. No one's
No,
job
No,
is safe at Manchester
Ineos,
United.
no. Ineos went on and bought a lot of players like Ugarte, like Yoro. Like Ineos are ambitious.
Okay,
Have some shame.
so here's where your logic
Well,
just doesn't
what
make
good's
sense
that
to me.
done?
Ambition's
Say
got
that
them from 8th to 15th.
No, but that's you're saying that's Ineos' fault.
Yes,
That
because
even
the
though-
players
Of
they
course,
bought
where we
were
are
shit.
because of Ineos. Of
You are
course.
15th because of Ineos.
Ineos
course,
sacked
okay.
him.
Here's the
Ineos
thing,
sacked
Mo.
Ten Hag on, then sacked him.
Right,
Ineos
then.
bought all the fucking players. Ineos have sold all the fucking players.
Yes. So here's the thing. Yesterday, they were telling me on the match reaction on the terrace that, like he deserves to be sacked. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, all right, here's the thing. If Amorim is to get sacked, the people that Ineos hired to run football in this club, they need to get sacked with him. Because the reason we are where we are is because of them. If they hired this guy in the summer, we'd have a different conversation because we'd be like, you know what? He had a full summer with them. He had a preseason. He was able to say which signings I like from the ones you got, which ones I don't like. Maybe these are the players that I prefer. Maybe these are the players that I want you to loan out or sell. He didn't get to do that. He got the mid-season. They got him mid-season and said, hey, rebuild the team while the season is on. Rebuild the team while the show is going on. And that was the biggest issue. You telling me Conte coming in, I'll tell you what's wrong with that. The whole issue right now with our football is that people believe that these players are not good enough to play the system. You are sacking him to get someone who plays the same system in a different way. Essentially,
He's just a
it's the
better
same
coach. He's a better
formation.
coach. He's a better coach.
No, but that's not the point, Mo. We're not debating right now who is the better coach. We're debating
he's
that this
superior.
manager is putting these players in a system that they cannot play. So it's one or two fixes. Either you go back to play 4-3-3, which, by the way, they weren't good at doing, or you just continue
I actually disagree with you.
and
Actually, I
trust
think
them and sign the right profiles.
a lot.
for this system.
I actually disagree with you. I think a lot of your players. Actually, it's a different system Antonio Conte plays. I don't think your team is so fit.
I said
to play
essentially the
Antonio Conte.
formation, not the system. So
No.
essentially,
Even the
5-5.
formation is completely different. Antonio Conte
it's a
plays with
5 and
3
back, Mo.
midfielders. No, it's not called that. See, hold on. Antonio Conte plays 3 in the midfield, the DM and 2 8s. You basically have 2 8s. Kobe Menu and
Yes, you have 3 too, but I talked about the back line. That's the
the
biggest
back
issue.
line. You basically have Maguire can play a back 3. Lenioro can play a back 3 because he's young and he can teach him. And De Ligt can play a back three. Mazraoui can play a back three. All of them.
How
The
about
back,
the wing backs, Mo? This
you
is
have
the same
one
thing.
wing back, Dorgo, that is young from Italy, played in the back five as well. And on the right wing back, he taught Victor Moses and Ashley Young to be wing backs. He taught that Alonso
was a wing back
to be a
for us,
wing
you know,
back.
let's be honest.
He literally, this guy is the genius guy in terms of wing backs. He can take me and make me a wing back to win a title.
It's not
He
hard to
knows
play
how
wing
to
back
do
for
it,
Antonio
bro.
Conte, Mo. You just sit deep, you defend, and if you're physical,
No,
you just
no,
pick up
no.
the ball and you
Antonio
run
Conte's
forward.
wing back have simple instructions. By the way, you're wrong because
Exactly, you just said simple.
Alonso and Moses were one of the two highest wing backs at that time. It's not only defensive. He knows how to set up. If there's only one position in Man United that I know Antonio Conte will get right, it's the freaking wing back. He knows, bro. This
We
guy
don't
knows.
have him. You think he's
Doesn't
going to make
matter.
Dallo? You
Chelsea
think he's going to
didn't.
turn
Yes,
Dallo
yes.
into Victor Moses?
Yes. The starting point of Victor Moses is definitely worse than Dallo at the wing back. What are we talking
because
about?
Victor Moses was a winger. Dallo's just brain dead. Who's going to coach
He's
someone
not
to
brain
not be
dead.
brain dead?
No, he's
Hey,
not
please,
brain
can you
dead.
not be stupid today? Let me coach you to not be stupid.
Antonio
Who's doing that?
Antonio Conte can play. Listen, Antonio Conte is as someone that I believe if he goes to anyway, he's not going to Man United because your board are two pussies of a board to actually hire Antonio Conte. It's basically that. They are two pussies to hire Antonio Conte. They won't hire him because he will ruin your club in 1 year.
Antonio Conte in 2026, Mo. Stop that.
Wallahi lazim, bro.
Don't
Bro,
say
Man
wallahi,
United, bro, Man
Please stop
United,
saying
you get,
wallahi.
bro, you're getting, bro, Man United, you get in. You're 15th, bro. 15th, bro. You're 15th.
We're 15th, Zah. We're 15th.
I was,
I've
wallahi,
been
this one
waiting to
popped.
say that. I'm not gonna.
It
I'm
was-
happy in 15 just because of that.
It popped on my feed early this morning. Anyway, listen, Inter
But that's
cooking.
waffle, bro. You waffled. I just want.
It's not waffle. I hope that if you say waffle, I actually explained it logically. No one can counter that, but fine. Your counter is that
I
he
tried
doesn't.
to. What do you mean? No one. Did?
Okay, listen.
I
we
told
can
you
do
the
another
whole
show.
point of
You
saying-
don't come at the end of the show. It's our 40 minutes.
يا
Don't
عم
come at
كنت
the end of the
نايم
show.
يا عم اتكلم في احلامي.
No, I'm
sleeping.
not. You're sleeping. All right. You're
It's a
sleeping.
bank holiday. You want me to
Anyway.
wake up early to talk about Antonio Conte?
Is it
Haram, I'm
off?
not
Are
doing that.
we off in America? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
President's Day.
Oh, really? Anyway, long story short, that is my belief. I am not saying that it won't.
Like Juventus yesterday, he's forgotten anything American just to spite McKennie and Weah because they beat him 1-0 yesterday.
Hold
Anyway.
that, by the way. You deserve that.
Bro, you're 15th. You don't tell me to hold anything, bro. You're 15th.
I will tell you that, bro. I could get relegated and I'll still cook you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, guys.
People think I'm
Listen.
employed by the club, so I can't speak. No, I'm an independent person.
And I'm not fucking employed by Inter Milan, bro. I'm not.
No, you're just employed
I'm
by
just a
Conte
fan.
trying to get him a fucking job at United, aren't you? He's like his
Allah-
agent.
Anyway. No, you asked me my opinion about fixing. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. I'm not saying Amorim will not work, but maybe it
I
will
just
take
don't
a
think
long
you
time.
made you didn't fix the
we can
biggest problem.
we can actually dig deeper into it. And I think the bigger problem at Man United, it will need a long time, as Rory said. We spoke about it. It will need a long time to fix your club.
I
And
know
will
that.
Man United fans be patient? I don't think so.
You're
They're
not
already
being
telling them
patient,
the
though. That's the issue. You're
But I'm
saying
not a
go
Man
get
United
Conte.
fan, bro. I'm not a Man United fan. I don't need to be patient.
No. I understand that, but
You,
in a
you
logical
asked me.
sense.
You asked me for a quick solution. That is my
I
solution.
didn't ask you for that. You suggested it. I'm
Because
willing
I
to
was
stick it
asked-
out, bro.
I was asked exactly. We'll see.
I want this rebuild, bro. I understand what the bigger issues is. People thought yesterday if we swap Dorgo and Dallo, all of a sudden we're gonna look good. Guess what? It was never that simple of a fix because
Your
you're
club
still
is-
gonna get your chances.
I actually.
Garnacho's
no,
good enough,
listen, I
not
don't
good
want-
enough to
listen,
convert. Hoyland is not going to be able to hold up the ball. You're still going to have horrible midfield
No,
decision
we're-
making between Bruno and Casemiro. And people, I mean, why would
Anyway.
anyone think we're one swap? Just switch two players on the pitch and we're going to become good.
Switch to managers and you'll be better. Switch to
So we
manager.
switch from a back five to a back five. When
No,
the whole argument is that we can't play
he
back
can
five.
switch. I think you haven't. The problem is in your lifetime, you have only seen one successful coach, so you really have no belief in coaches.
I don't
That's
watch
your
enough
problem.
football more to talk about successful football or not.
No. But
And that's why I don't compare it to
can I
Sir
not?
Alex,
Can I
'cause
not?
I'm not entitled.
Listen, we cannot go there after this amount of time on the show. But it's a failure when Conte was at Man United and Spurs. He was never at Man United though.
Alhamdulillah.
He was at Spurs, and everyone that joined Spurs is just a failure, basically. But listen, I appreciate everyone that joined the show. Rory. Thank you so much. Rory Talks Football on Instagram, Twitter, and on everywhere, guys, on YouTube as well. His channel in the description, and all his links are on his channel. So go and support the man. Go and support Rory. Tom Little, Staffy TV with his brilliant watch-alongs. Absolutely fantastic. Great. Tom is on the top 6 later today. But no, there's another super chat that I missed. Yes, my bad, not Man United. All right, they're empty. All right. I hear you. But listen, Tom, are you on the top 6?
Tom Hyde.
Yes. You're not on the top 6, Steph. No, you're not.
No.
Anyway, I will see you guys soon. Hit that like button before you go. It was brilliant. I hope you joined earlier. I think that would have made a great conversation, to be honest. We're out of here, people.